Hello, my name is Klara. I'm 28 years old and I have endometriosis. I have stage 4. I'm Italian and Moroccan, so I apologize in advance for any pronunciation error, any grammatical error. Please be nice. So I'm making this video because I'm opening this channel. I'm making this video because I would like to support and help. Because when I started my journey, I found loads of videos online and they helped me tons. Like, they gave me a reason to fight. They made me understand what signs to look for. And I would like to do the same. I want to be here to explain my endometriosis that has my own symptoms. Well, it's the symptoms of everybody, but depending on where the endo grows, you get slightly different different pains, different feelings, different pressures. So I would like to talk about mine, and hopefully even if there is one person out there that sees herself into me, that feels the pains that I do, I'm glad I helped you, hopefully. This is for all families, friends that have a kid, sister, a wife, and they want to know what they can do to help. Yeah, so when it all started, it started with a bang. My first period was when I was 8 years old, and it started bad for what I can remember. I feel like my brain tries to block out the worst flares up. So sometimes I'm just like, yeah, that was not that bad. But I've started to do this thing where I'll record myself when I'm in pain, or I'll take a picture of myself while the flare-up is on. So then afterwards, when I'm feeling okay and I'm like, oh, I don't have anything, I'm just a drama queen, I can be like, okay, no, you got something wrong. You need to push. But yeah, my symptoms started when I was 8 years old. Started with, pelvic cramps, and I used to throw up a lot. I feel like I used to throw up a lot more when I was younger than I do now. Another thing that's changed, whenever I put myself to bed, I'll always find the most awkward position to feel comfortable in. And I mean, I look very weird. I'll be having like my legs up the wall, or half a leg out of the bed, or I'll be upside down with my bum on the bed and the rest of me below the bed. So they're all kind of like weird things, but every time once I hit these spots, I'll feel kind of okay. But when I'm lying on the bed and somebody try to sit next to me or talk to me, as soon as they reach the bed and they move me, it just felt like 1,000 needles poking through my body. It was an awful feeling that will trigger instant throwing up. It was okay. My parents did their best. My dad was very worried about me, and it will always bring me a hot water bottle and the painkillers and a little snacky snack, and a bucket. The bucket was like, Mom, I have my period. Somebody will instantly go and grab me a bucket. I used to be very tired to reach the bathroom, so that took all of the energy for that day. And obviously for 8 years old, that is bad enough. I think I don't really have clear memory of how things have developed over time, because again, my brain just blocked out the worst of it. So I hope to be as coherent as I would like, but sometimes I can mess up appointments and say that this happened before that, so I apologize in advance. After a couple of years, it used to be always the same. It was only the first 2 days I'll be bed-bounded, and then I can just cope with painkillers and go back to school, go back to my activities. So that was the beginning of my process. I had loads of doctor appointments, and I've seen a lot of different gynecologists and specialists, but I'll get onto that in probably like a separate video. This is just like an intro on what my symptoms were. I feel like I've tried different things, multivitamins, specific pills to take, so like over the counter. Don't remember what they were. The gynae put me on it for a couple of months, didn't do anything, and then I got put on the pill. And I was the happiest woman alive. Like, my pain was bad for one day, but it was bad like ibuprofen, and then I was okay. And then, yeah, my life started. I was fine. I could do anything. I could be anything. I started to go to the gym. I've lost plenty of weight. I'm measuring kilograms. So I used to be always around 60, 70 kilos. And at one point I've reached, I want to say 80 kilos. And then I started my diet, my exercising. I've never felt so good. Hit 60. I was like, I love my body. I love how I look. And it just felt amazing, when you like your skin and you put on clothes and you're like, oh, wow, this fit me. And even like silly things like you're having a shower and everything feels different. It's like somebody else is having a shower, like your body shape has changed. I don't know, it was incredible. It was a little bubble of pure happiness and joy. But little did I know, until that point, nearly nobody, no gynecologist mentioned the word endometriosis. So for me, it was just like, I had bad pains. People get pains. Some people get them early on. Some people get worse and over the time. So I was like, I'm fine. And I stopped the pill. I got depressed, really depressed, got antidepressants on, and then I was like, these pills are not working for me. I'll stop everything. I want to go, the natural way. So I've done that. I went the natural way. And my brain just couldn't connect the two things. I didn't realize that by being off the pill, my periods will gradually get worse. I never got thought that. Nobody told me that. So even when my periods started getting worse, I've never thought that that was the reason for. My periods were really bad. They were long, heavy, really heavy. And I've tried all kind of like old tales. Eat more beetroot, have more steak, Eat loads of spinach. You know, you need iron because you're bleeding a lot. Well, that's probably true. But I've done everything that was scientific and not. Bear in mind, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not nowhere close to the medical environment. I'm just a person that in the last year has called her GP over 100 times. I have a chemistry degree, so I understand a bit of the science behind it, but that is as far as it goes. So if you're expecting medical information to be completely clear, just so you know, I'm not a doctor. But yeah, I had all kind of symptoms before stopping the pill, but they were all calm, if that makes sense. All of my symptoms were still there. You know, I had pain peeing. It wasn't pain, it was like pressure. I felt a lot of pressure if I had to have a bowel movement. But I never made much of it. And then when I stopped the pill, I started having the symptoms getting worse. And, you know, I think someone mentioned the word endometriosis to me. And that was the moment where I've started looking up videos on YouTube on my endometriosis experience, me and Endo, battling Endo, and all kind of like different, I was just like putting random phrases online to see what would pop out. And somebody mentioned that, you know, if you stop the pill, your symptoms come back. And that was the moment when I've realized that maybe I did had Endo. So I was like, oh, wait. So if I do stop the pill, I'll get worse. And then if I start the pill, I feel better. I did all of my controls, you know, the blood tests, the ultrasounds, the MRI. I've done it all. And they put me back on progesterone only pill. And obviously over the time, because I've been off contraceptive for nearly 3 years, I want to say, the symptoms got really bad, really, really bad, to a point where I thought I didn't have Endo. I had something worse. But so far, it's nothing worse. I thought different things. I thought, at one point, I thought I was allergic to milk. I love my coffee, I love butter, I love cream, I love ice cream. So I just assumed that I was having some sort of reaction, that maybe my bowel was not pleased with all of the dairy products. Then I thought, I self-diagnosed myself with like 1,000 different syndromes and stuff. I thought I was allergic to gluten, and then I thought, I even thought I was intolerant to broccoli. That doesn't even exist, I think. But yeah, I kept thinking that that was something I was doing to myself. That maybe I had really bad depression, and depression and anxiety can show as aches and pains, and my pains were really bad, so my depression must have been really bad. And obviously you feel very not in control, like somebody else is driving your life and you're just the passenger, and this person keep hitting every curb, keep hitting every other car. I would say emotionally, I mean, if you have a kid that is going to uni that might have Endo, keep an eye on them. For me, it was a beautiful experience. I moved to the UK for university. I loved the people around here and I loved partying. But obviously my body didn't. So whenever I'll be down, you know, I miss uni lectures and you miss deadlines, all that kind of things. And then you get depressed because you've got loads of work to make up for. And then all of a sudden, you feel great. You feel good. You know, that good equilibrium between painkillers. I had that phase where I was taking antibiotic nearly on a monthly basis. I get back onto that in a sec. So when I was reaching the good equilibrium, I was like, I'm doing great. And then I go out and I wouldn't care about the consequence. I'll just go out, have fun, 3, 4 in the morning, wake up at 6, go to work. I was on the top of the wave. It was fantastic. But then again, you get ill, you stay at home, and it just put me in this mode of self-destruction, I want to say. Anytime I feel good, it was all about going out. It was all about me living the uni experience on full. I'm kind of glad I did. Obviously I had no parent supervision because in another state. And I don't know, it gets lonely because everybody's up for a party and you make friends with people in a club, and every time you go there, even if you go by yourself, it's like, hey, hi, how you doing? But then there are the bad days. And those hit really hard. Because guess what? Those people are not real people. They're not really your friends. It's just a bunch of people that want to have fun. And I've tried to reach out to most of them. You know, hey, do you want to have a cup of coffee? Do you want to meet up? But yeah, if you do have friends and family around you, don't block them out. Okay, you need them. You really, really do. Because before it gets better, it just keeps getting worse. But eventually it does get better. So I've seen all kind of doctors. Okay, I've seen so I've started by seeing a skin doctor because obviously my period were too long. The pad was there all the time. I will get sore areas and then skin irritation. So I had to go see a skin specialist. This is back in the time. Probably was like a teenager, an early teenager. Yeah, they gave me my cream, sent me away. I was fine. Then I've done some blood work and they were like, oh, you have some CA125 raised. We're gonna need to do a ultrasound just to make sure that it's not ovarian cancer, and then you get the freak out. Then they do the ultrasound, they found loads of stuff going on, but they don't really care, do they? Yeah, I remember the first ultrasound, they found a dermoid cyst. Basically, that was the only thing they could spot. And so back at the time, I've seen a gynecologist. She was the one that put me on contraceptive, so I saw her twice. And in Italy, we have a family doctor, so it's the same kind as a GP, but it's the same face that you talk to every time. And you go and you see all the time the same person. So it took me on a side and he was like, listen, we've done the ultrasound. There is a little cyst. It's nothing major. your CA125 are raised, not incredibly raised, so I'm not too worried about that. But if you'd like, we could go in and do a little laparoscopy surgery to look inside, have a good look, see if there is something we're missing, and remove that little cyst. But the gynecologist that I spoke before that appointment, she told me that I was a bit of a drama queen, that I was fine, that every woman goes through painful periods, and, you know, kind of like get over yourself. So when this amazing doctor that, the more I think about him, the more I feel stupid, because I had the possibility to be heard. I had the possibility to handle the situation. And on top of it all, it was the very first time I went to a doctor appointment by myself without my mother. And I thought, oh no, I'm gonna have surgery and I have cancer, and I had a full-on mental breakdown at school, and boys are mean, really mean. They laughed at me, they said that I wanted attention, that I had nothing wrong. And I was like, you know what, maybe it's true, maybe I want attention, maybe, you know, I'm not gonna get the surgery, I'm not that much, I don't want to hurt myself more than I have to. If it's just painful periods, it's just painful periods, you know. I know that by the end of the week, I'm fine. So I let it be. I've not dealt with it. I just simply ignored it. Ignore that message. And then my brain blocked out the endometriosis word that he used, blocked out the fact that I had a dermoid cyst, and just forgot completely about the whole thing. I kind of got better the longer I was on the pill. And then I just completely forgot about the whole situation. I did eventually realize that something was wrong when I come out of the pill. But I'm trying to think any other interaction with doctors. I'm not going to use his name, but is it mean for me to hope that he will get fired? Like, please, hospital, fire him. I'm at the worst gynecologist at the hospital, in hospital in England that I was been looking at, that I was getting looked at. He thought I was a drama queen, you know, my CA125 levels were high, blah, 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 that I should man up, you know, power through. You just have a little cyst. Nothing is wrong with you. And at that point, I've started to struggle breathing on a period. So I'm looking into your eyes and I'm saying, I had to call an ambulance because I cannot breathe. I cannot move. I didn't even manage to roll myself out of the bed. They had to pull the bedding to get me onto the ambulance. And you're telling me that's normal? I can't stand on my feet. Okay, I can't do anything. And you're saying that's normal? You're such an asshole. Just in case you ever see this. But anyway, it dismissed the whole case. It dismissed me. I've done my research. I put a complaint through for him. And then I went back in. And it was just like a different, very young, probably a student doctor, who was really upset with me. You know, when you walk in and you feel, it was either she was upset with me or she was having a really crappy day. But anyway, I signed the consent form to get my lab done. She made me sign the wrong forms. And during my pre-op, I found out that she put me in to cut both of my ovaries. Thank you, miss, just in case you see this. But we got it on time. We went in, had my op. Oh, the morning of the op. I'm gonna make a whole video about it, but the morning of the op, the surgeon was questioning my mental state to want to undergo general anesthesia, total anesthesia, well, surgery for a little cyst. I remember that was the comment that she made, and I was like, yeah, I would like to carry on. And then I woke up and she was like, oh yeah, you have endo on your spine, on your bowel, on your diaphragm, on your pelvic floor, on the patch of Douglas, I think it's called, on your rectum, on the uterus ligament, on like everywhere. Oh, and your liver is fine, she said. And she was looking at me so apologetic nearly. And I was like, I don't care if you didn't want to do the surgery, but at least now you know, and I know, that you guys screwed up. Or they didn't screw up, but it's the process. But I was so happy. I'm gonna make a whole video about the surgery, but I was so happy to have a diagnosis at that point. So yeah, I've met all kind of doctors. The most recent one was kind of a nice dude. I remember crying in happiness for what a great doctor he was. I was purely in tears. I don't even know if I'm allowed to use his name, but it was a Chester hospital. It was the very first time I've been there for been going in and out for the past 5 years, I want to say 4 years. And I've never met anybody that actually, first of all, read my file before I walk in. Because I feel like, if I'm waiting 11 months for my appointment, I want to walk into your office with you having at least a small idea about what's happening in my life. Just like what's going on. I hear horrible stories of girls going in and they're talking about something, and they might have the colonoscopy bag, I think it's called, and the doctors are like, oh no, you don't. I was like, yes, I do. So at least the major information, it's very nice and kind to see a doctor knowing about you. But yeah, I was really happy he listened to me. He booked me back in for another op, so I'm waiting for that at the moment. And I'll go on to the details on everything. I just don't want to make a single video too long. I'm just sharing a bit here and there. During the route of getting diagnosed, you will find yourself questioning yourself. You don't want to go against doctors. You think they know what they're talking about, but if your gut is telling you that you're not feeling okay, if you struggle to do stuff, if you don't have energies, if you have friends and you see what kind of periods they have, share your story, find a support group, find friends. She said find friends, like it's an easy task to do. But But find a support group, like a page on Facebook. Are you questioning your symptoms? Ask. Like, there is nothing bad about it, and it can take years to be diagnosed. So a lot of people get like misdiagnosed with like IBS and stuff. But whenever you start questioning yourself, remember that it's real. Like, you are in pain. I do that all the time. This morning I woke up and I was in tears, crying, because I felt like my uterus was getting pulled out of me. And I cried. I had a full-on mental breakdown. I posted something on a support group for endometriosis on Facebook. I'm not fine now, but on a scale 1 to 10 now, my pain is like a 5 or a 6, while before it was, please shoot me kind of pain. But, you know, don't let the self-doubt stop you from searching what you need, from finding out what's the real problem, because no one else is going to fight for you, okay? No one else is going to be you. So if you don't fight for yourself, you're going to just make it worse, if that makes sense. I remember before my op, I had such a huge, I've managed to do everything, and I fight it so hard to get to that point, to the day before surgery, and something just clicked on me, and I was like, I'm lying. I don't have anything. I'm fine. I mean, I get pain, but that's okay. And I was getting married in 4 weeks. So my brain was just like, what if? I thought my brain was broken. I was convinced, okay, that I had something wrong in my head. You know, like that disease where you get yourself ill to get medical attention and friends' attention. I got, the day before surgery, I thought I had that. I was like, I don't know, maybe I drink bleach. I don't know, maybe I'm doing something to myself to make me feel this miserable. And then I calmed down and I was like, okay, if it is endo, I was talking to my husband, if it is endo, what stage do you think I'm on? And he was like, I think you're like a 2 or a 3. And I was like, bear in mind, I can't walk, I can't pee, I can't poop without crying. I'm a useless piece of meat. I was like, no, I think I have like, if I have endo, it's gonna be like a 1 or a 2. And then, you know, you get stage 4 endometriosis, adhesions everywhere, everything is stuck together, your ovarian cyst is growing onto the bowel, the fallopian tubes towards the bowel, the ovaries are completely closed up, you got stuff growing on your diaphragm. And I was like, oh, that makes me feel so much better. I really told my husband that if I come out of surgery and they found nothing, I don't even know if they exist, but I was ready to get myself locked up in a psychiatric center or something. It will hit emotionally. You will think you're fine. That is the only thing you don't have to believe. If you feel pain, if you feel enough pain to be looking around trying to figure out what it is, I'm not saying it's endo. I have the whole package. Endo, adenomyosis, fibroids, ovarian cysts, hemorrhagic cysts, dermoid cysts, diaphragm, and like, if something is wrong, even if it's just a single nodule on your bowel, you will know, you will feel it. Another thing is, if this is the very first time you're hearing about the word endometriosis, or one of the first times, the way it grows is you have your uterus, the fallopian tubes, and they don't really know how it does happen, but the cells that are found inside the uterus can be found outside the uterus. And when you bleed, they bleed. So whenever you are on your period, if you have endo, you technically have some sort of internal bleeding happening that cause inflammation, that cause irritation. So that is part of the pain. Another part or reason for the pains is the organs on your pelvic area, and sometimes even other organs, can start getting stuck together. And when the inflammation starts, you start having feelings of stuff being pulled or things being choked. Like, I know that my bowel is kind of like choked in one point. So whenever I have a bowel movement, I'm not talking about going to the actual loo, I'm talking about when I'm eating and digesting and processing food. At the level of my belly button on the left side, I get excruciating pain. Like, when it passes that part, it's just like I crouch, I cry, and then 5-10 minutes later I'm like, oh, let's have a cup of tea. It's only when the food gets through that area, nearly fills up, feels like it needs enough pressure build up to get through. But anyway, this is just a bit of random information that I collected. None of it is clear. Maybe it doesn't make sense, but if you feel like, you know, this could be you or this could be your friend, I'm gonna try to make a couple of more videos, probably all today because I don't have a headache. And yeah, I'll just try to explain the story, all the different experience, you know, the on and off the pill, how it felt, the surgery, the whole process. How was it before? How was it afterwards? How to get booked in for a surgery, all the different drugs, medication, all the pain treatment you can take, all the things that can cross my mind, basically. But if you feel like joining me in this journey, I would love it. I hope some of this made sense for you, and if it did, let me know. If you would like to know something more, something specific, please leave a comment. And if you feel like it, if you want to, you can subscribe. But you don't have to. This is just if you want to give me a hand in all of this. And yeah, next time I'll try to go deeper on a specific area of topic and then explain that without keep jumping back and forth like I did today. Yep. Thank you very much for listening, and hopefully I'll see you again.